Hey guys, James here from the Football Manager Whizzkids, and today I'm here with a Football Manager 2016 video of a different sort. Today I'm going to run through what it's like and what we do on the Football Manager Whizzkids transfer database update that we've been releasing publicly for around 4.5 years now, but been working on continuously for around about a decade now. Now we have just passed 700,000 downloads in the public eye in the last 4.5 years, which is absolutely incredible, and the only place I've not really showcased the database and what we do and the work we put into it and the many and multiple hours we work on it is YouTube. So I thought I would bring it to YouTube in case you're not following us on any other social media outlets. This is the place where we can really show what we do and some of the edits we do and some of the finer details that we do to the database update that make us one of the best around in the Football Manager community. So first of all, what I want to say is a massive thank you. Those 700,000 downloads is absolutely incredible. We've released multiple databases, whether it be the Class of 92 databases, tactic uploads, loads of stuff you can download we've done, but this is the biggie. This is the big one, and I'm very proud that we have passed 700,000. The goal now, really, eventually, one day, maybe on FM17, near the end of it, is 1 million downloads, which would be absolutely incredible. Now, we did not expect to get here or that many, but after passing 600,000 last year, we're now past 700,000. I'm absolutely delighted with that. So you never know. I guess you can set bigger targets once you've reached a massive target that you never really expected to reach. But remember guys, it's just like any line of work. Obviously this is leisure, but if you don't have people behind you enjoying what you do and downloading what you produce content wise, you would never make it as far as you did. And I've enjoyed doing this work. Sometimes it's late nights, early mornings doing it, but at the end of the day, I'm doing this for myself personally to play the freshest, most up-to-date game you can possible on the patch that Football Manager released in the winter window. And this is for your enjoyment also. Again, I wouldn't do it if I wasn't enjoying it, but the targets that we have reached, the targets that we've hit, it really does mean a lot, and we can now push on and really keep bringing you the content, because certain people, a lot of them, expect high quality content from us now, since we've been bringing it out for around 4.5 years. Anyway, enough waffling, let's get into the database. This is the editor. We'll get into the game now and I'll show you some edits that have been made and really the fine details that we do to produce the quality of work that we like to produce for the public. Okay guys, so first I must say, if you've never downloaded a database before or you've never downloaded our database, a quick way for me to tell you is you download the media file link from one of the sources that I have it on. 100% safe. I wouldn't have it on them outlets if I didn't trust them. I work with people in partnership for me to have my content on their site with a little bit of, I guess, plugging here and there. Anyway, you download the media file, you drop it into editor database, inside the Sports Interactive, inside the Football Manager, and inside the editor data folder. That's where you leave it. Load up a game, select custom, select new game, and all the changes will be there right in front of you for you to see. Anyway guys, if you want to find out more about that, I do have a video on my playlist. Just go on to our YouTube channel, of course, that's where you are just now. Select playlist, select tutorials 2016, and you will see how to input a custom edited database into Football Manager 2016. So first of all guys, in regards to edits, we're going to run you through some league tables. Now at the top of the English Premier Division, as you can see, I've renamed the holders of each tournament in the 8 major leagues or countries that we personally play in on Football Manager. Those are England, France, Italy, Spain, Scotland, Portugal, Germany and Holland. Now those are the countries that we play in most, so they're the ones that we like to focus on in regards to the finer details, such as the holders Leicester City. We also edit second and third place, and this will reflect in cups such as the Supercoppa in Italy, also the Super Cup in Spain, and of course the Community Shield in England, where you will see the Premier League champions face off against the FA Cup champions when you load up a brand new game, which of course would be Manchester United versus Leicester City. So the Premier League table, as you can see, we have Hull here, we have Middlesbrough, and we have also got Burnley. 3 clubs promoted to the Premier League. Of course, we do focus a lot on relegations and promotions because people like to play as the clubs they support or as new clubs in other divisions. Here we have the Sky Bet Championship. Again, I'll just say it once more time. We have the holders as Burnley, who did win the the Championship last season, and we edited that to make it look like they had won it in the current season. What you can't do in this situation, guys, you have to start in July 2015. That's unfortunate, but it's just the way it is regarding Football Manager. As you can see, relegated Aston Villa, the club I support, Newcastle United, got relegated, as did Norwich. I'm currently playing a Newcastle United save in the Championship, where it's going quite well, as you'd expect, with so many big players. A lot of people like to take on that building block, win the Championship, and get yourself back into the Premier League. But as I say, guys, it's very much updated again, with the likes of Wigan also promoted from League One, Barnsley as well also promoted, along with Burton Albion. Just another case of editing that we've done regarding promotions and relegations. We briefly step into League One, where we have the sad situation of Charlton, former Premier League club, and an even sadder situation, Bolton Wanderers, who have just been taken over by Phil Parkinson. They, of course, are in Sky Bet League One now. That is a challenge I'm sure a lot of people would like to accept if they choose to download this database. And a misery compiler for those Blackpool fans, but if you're a Blackpool fan and you enjoy Football Manager, I'm sure you would love the task and challenge of taking your club now in Sky Bet League 2, Blackpool, up the table and potentially one day into the Premier League and on to possible European glory. But it's a certainly good challenge on this database with all the relegations and promotions done in England and in other countries. Here's a league table that a lot of people will be wanting to see. It is, of course, Rangers back in the Premier League, back in amongst the old firm, and back in the big time in Scotland. I know a lot of Rangers fans follow us on social media, and I know they've been looking forward to using this. So, if you fancy it, can you knock Celtic off their perch? Can you beat Aberdeen to second or Hearts to third place in the Ladbrokes Premiership, with all transfers, of course, updated as you'd expect? Now, as well as the leagues updated, we have also updated the winners of each domestic trophy as well. But we'll get into that a little bit more later on in regards to the UEFA Champions League and the UEFA Europa League. We move down one tier in the pyramid of Scottish football and we look at the Ladbrokes Championship. The Scottish Football League's names change that often. Even though I'm from Scotland and live in Scotland, I tend to forget them sometimes. But we do have the relegated Dundee United now in the league favourites to win the Championship. They will go in a tussle, no doubt I expect, with Hibernian in this division. So we'll now move on to a few managerial, staff and player edits that we have made. Now this one for me is a massive coup. Things didn't go quite well for Neil Lennon at Bolton Wanderers, but he had a lovely time at Celtic and he's back in Scotland in the second tier, taking over Hibernian, and that is the reason why I see them winning the league. He is a good manager and he's got a decent squad at his disposal, so he should hopefully go on to make it to the top level in Scotland and one day get back to playing at the top level and against his former club Celtic. Has of course indeed taken his fellow trusty assistant Gary Parker to Hibernian with him. Now it's believed Celtic have sold more season tickets than they ever have done before, and this is the reason why. Brendan Rodgers on our database of course is at Celtic. He has brought in, I think it's Chris Davis, a former member of his coaching staff at Swansea and Liverpool, along to Celtic with him, and that is a fine appointment from the Glasgow club. So here we have the Glasgow Rangers side. A few signings have been made by Mark Warburton, and of course the two guys coming from Accrington Stanley last season on pre-contracts, that is Matt Crooks as well as the other one who is Josh Windass, I believe. Now, they've also signed a couple of other players, Jordan Rossiter, the young talent from Liverpool, but we couldn't really go past Rangers without seeing them make the massive signing that is Joseph Barton. What a phenomenal signing for this club, and I for one am delighted that he's going to be playing in my home country, and I'm going to look forward to seeing him tussling in the league, especially in a crunch battle with Scott Brown when the old firm meet this season. In a similar reason how I couldn't pass Rangers without mentioning Joey Barton, I can't pass Celtic without talking about arguably Ronnie Dyla's final and possibly best signing, even though he won't be there anymore. Christopher Ayer, the Wonderkid that you all know on Football Manager. He is of course signed for Celtic. He did about 6 months ago on a pre-contract, and it's a great bit of business if he turns out to be anything like he does in real life compared to what we do see him turn into, a beast on Football Manager 2016. Of course, we continue to do loans in the transfer database. This loan was done for 2 years. I've now shortened it to 1 year, of course, because we're acting as if we're starting in the season 2016 onwards, and Patrick Roberts will have a 1 year loan at Celtic from Manchester City. Of course, we do loans all over the world on the game. Moving on, guys, another thing we do is raise Wonderkid reputations in the editor. Now what this means is not touching the Wonderkid attributes. This means raising the reputation to 100 or above. Now this suits you guys, especially those that don't have good computers or laptops or PCs to run Football Manager on. Now if you select a small database or a medium database, you will not get all the players like Wonderkids or obscure players in different obscure countries, unless they have over 100 reputation. Now this is really for you guys. Now this guy here, Ray Managerial, he's recently joined Inter Milan from Cremonese. Now you probably wouldn't have found him at Cremonese if you played on a small database. If you played on a large database, possibly, but I still highly doubt it. But because we've raised over 1,000 potential Wonderkids, you can play on a small database and these guys will still come up due to the reputation being raised to over 100. As I say, guys, we've not edited any attributes for these players, but over 1,000 Wonderkids, age around 21 and under, we've raised the reputation. So if you've got a rubbish computer, you can select a small database, which will make it run a bit quicker, and these guys will still show. If you don't select a small database, or you haven't installed this database, they will not show, I can assure you, with a small database, because you will not have that many players loaded up. So guys, we move briefly on to talking about European football. Now here you have the UEFA Champions League, the early door, first qualifying phases. Now of course Real Madrid did win the Champions League, Sevilla won the Europa League, and in relation to that, these teams will meet in the UEFA Super Cup prior to the season starting. Now, on the seedings area here, you will see all the teams in the Champions League for next season, but obviously 2015 on the database, who are entering at which stage that they do in real life. I have edited this. It did take a long time to do this, double the amount of time it took doing the Europa League, as it's a much bigger and longer competition than the Champions League. But if you scroll down here on the seedings, you'll see all the teams such as Tottenham come into the group stage, Sporting come into the group stage, Ajax get the best placed third playoff round, Celtic go into the Champions League second playoff round, Roma, many other teams, as you can see, Leicester City there, into the group stage, of course after winning the Premier League. Now as you can see down here, below the finances, continental competition, you will have the UEFA Champions League, and that is exactly where Leicester will start. So if you fancy having a go as Leicester, you will of course immediately go into the group stage of the UEFA Champions League. And exactly the same, guys, for the Europa League. Sevilla the winners, of course, and as you can see on the seedings area, you will see the teams that go into certain areas of the competition. Villarreal the third qualifying round, Inter Milan the group stage, second qualifying round for Ghent, and just like Leicester, if you click on a certain club such as Manchester United, you will see them below their financial richness. You will see continental competition, which is of course the Europa League. So guys, like I said, the 8 countries that we really focus on in terms of relegations and promotions, stuff like that, and editing domestic cup winners, etc., are the main 8 countries that we play in. Again, England, France, Italy, Spain, Holland, Scotland, Portugal and Germany. But I must stress that we edit transfers on a worldwide, global basis. So do not hesitate and do not worry about that. We do far and wide transfers than just those 8 countries. But those are the ones we mainly focus on in terms of doing all the promotions and relegations all the way down the tiers, below the Vanarama National Conference, etc., right down deep low if you want to play in those depths of the pyramid. Moving on, guys, something else that we do that some other databases might not do. They might do. I don't personally check other databases, to be honest, because I'm quite satisfied with using my own. Now, this is a new signing for Borussia Mönchengladbach, of course, replacing Granit Xhaka, who moved on to Arsenal, but we'll talk about player transfers in a moment. But squad numbers is a key thing. Now, Yannick Vestergaard is just signed for Mönchengladbach, and he's taking the number 4 shirt. So naturally, in the editor, we do give him the number 4 shirt. Same as pre-season when players change numbers. I'll give you an example, such as Jack Colback last season for Newcastle was number 14. Then coming into this season, the season that they got relegated, he did move to number 4 in that season. So we removed the number 14 shirt from him, we gave him the number 4, and then Gabriel Obertan moved into the number 14 shirt of his. So we do edit squad numbers. I know it might not mean a lot to some, but it's the finer detail that we like to imply on the database. Now, speaking of the devil, we were talking about Gabriel Obertan, not in particular him, but the only reason we bring him up is because we do release players. Now, Premier League clubs released the retained and released players list today, so all those players that were on it as released are now free agents in the game. There's plenty of other free agents in the game, big names currently free, as well as small names. So if you're a smaller club in the depths of, say, the English or Scottish tier, there are a lot of players released that you'll be able to pick up, but there are also a few blockbuster players for the bigger clubs that you can try and pick up. I will of course give you an example. Daniel Alves just left Barcelona. Now, he's a wanted man soon as you start a new save. Got quality attributes, he will want a high wage, 32 years old. I'm sure you can get him to a big club on a season or two deal for a big fee, but it would be good experience to have somebody like that in your squad. Of course, currently a free agent in real life, so as of now, the 11th of June, this database that I currently have, he's a free agent and you'd be able to sign him. Of course, I expect him to get a club soon, then we edit him and move him to the club. And in an exact same situation to Daniel Alves, Hatem Ben Arfa, of course, left Nice and is definitely a free agent now, as of the date I just mentioned. Of course, by the time I release another database, he'll probably have a club. I'd imagine he's on holiday on the beach right now, enjoying himself. He'll come back and he'll look for a club. After the season he's had at Nice, he will be wanted by a few clubs. As you can see here, on the right hand side, he's a free agent and wanted major interest and minor interest from clubs such as Tottenham, West Brom, Fiorentina, Olympiacos, Atalanta and Bordeaux. But I'm sure he will get interest from bigger clubs than those. But that, guys, that's another example of we doing release players, and when he gets a club, we will move him to the club he signs for. Now, guys, here's another case of the finer, picky detail that we have at the Whizzkids. Now, N'Golo Kante, if you really look at the initial database from SI, he'll have 0 caps for France. But of course, naturally, the work that I put in, I like to have the fine detail. So, 3 caps on 1 goal. Of course, he did score on his debut, I believe, or was it his second game for France? But that's another case of editing, and that may influence the decision on the international manager of France or any other country in bringing a player into the squad if they have been capped already. Should N'Golo Kante not have been capped, like by SI on the winter patch, then he may not get a look in the France squad, but because he's got caps, he's a decent age, it looks like he's of course played for France before, and it could influence the decision to call him up. An even better case of that is, of course, the hot prospect right now going to the European Championships, of course, which started today, the day I'm recording of this. France won today over Romania, just out of interest, at a worldie by Dimitri Payet at the death of the game to secure a victory for the home nation. Anyway, Marcus Rashford, the number 39 of Manchester United, 18 years old, 1 goal and 1 cap for England. And as you can see here, guys, he has had the contract extension. Now, he's been given his contract to 2020, which you recently seen him sign. It was reported to be on a fee of £20,000 per week. So naturally, we give him that contract to 2020 and £20,000 per week. He did get a bump up in attributes by SI on the winter update. They're not world class right now, but he is only 17 on the game. But they will improve, and come FM17, Marcus Rashford will be absolutely top notch on the game. But 2 cases of edits here, guys, or 3 cases. We have of course, the international player cap and goal, the £20,000 per week, and the contract extension, which means if you're playing as Manchester United, you've literally got Marcus Rashford tied down to a pole and going nowhere. Now, there are other examples of players getting international caps. This guy, who you all know, the best Wonderkid on the game by a mile for me, Gabriel Barbosa, recently made his debut for Brazil and of course is going to, or currently playing in the Copa America in place of Neymar, you could say, who is currently not there, but he has got 2 goals and 2 caps for Brazil now. Other cases of this guy's caps, the SI did not of course have from the winter update, the likes of Anthony Martial, who now has quite a few caps for France, Danny Drinkwater, and a few other players that we showcase, such as Gabriel Barbosa, N'Golo Kante and Marcus Rashford. Moving on, guys, and something else we do that is rather important in terms of gameplay and building your squad really, we remove injuries. Now, of course, Luke Shaw was actually touted to potentially make the squad for the Euros. Of course he didn't, but it's a similar situation to Jack Wilshere, who only played 2 games and somehow still made the England squad. No doubt in the guy's ability and talent, quality player when fit, but that is the key thing, when fit. So just like here, Luke Shaw's injury has been removed, and so have many others, including the likes of Joe Gomez, who's just about to come back to fitness, Danny Ings, who made the bench at the end of the last season, other players such like Tim Krul, who's back in almost full-time training, not even having a holiday, trying to get fit for Newcastle's new campaign in the Championship should he stay. And of course the likes of Jay Rodriguez as well, who's been hampered by injury at Southampton. So injuries are a big thing, guys, and they have been removed from the database in total, should they have it removed in real life. Now, guys, we're moving on to the better stuff, the stuff that you probably wanted to see more so than others. So we'll start off with a few managers just now. Jose Mourinho, the special one, of course, took over at Manchester United from Louis van Gaal. It's going to be epic to see him in the Premier League with a different club, and I'm confident, I'm definitely positive that he can bring success back to the red side of Manchester. Skipping across to the blue side of Manchester, it is of course Pep Guardiola, who did sign a contract with Manchester City for 3 years. He signed that a while back in place of Pellegrini. The former Barcelona and Bayern Munich manager is blessed with the success. Can he bring more success to the sky blue side of Manchester, where success is in demand? I'm sure he'll have plenty of money to play with. And third, not finally, but third and a very good appointment, Antonio Conte, currently in charge of Italy at the European Championships, but of course we're in preparation for next season. So he's another new addition, and I think he's going to be really good for Chelsea. It can't be any worse than last season. Last season was a joke by the standard of Chelsea. Probably see a lot of things happen which always happen at Chelsea. They'll loan out about 30 players. Hopefully they don't sign any deadwood and just sell them on, because we've seen that too much in the past. But Conte going toe-to-toe with the likes of Guardiola, Pochettino, Mourinho, other managers potentially on the move. Ronald Koeman looks to be moving to Everton with his brother Edwin Koeman. Rafa Benitez, of course, other managerial movement at Newcastle in the Championship. Roberto Di Matteo at Aston Villa. Parkinson at Blackpool, and Bolton, and much more managerial movement. Now, I mentioned earlier with Paddy Roberts that of course we continue to do loan deals in the database, but what we also do is undo loan deals. Now, Florian Thauvin, who didn't have a great deal of success in his 12 games at Newcastle, is coming back from his loan at Marseille. Now, we have undone loans, of course, which is the case in every team. There is no loan done unless they've been done for the new season. So he is back. And a prime case of this, guys, is the next player I'm about to show you coming back to a Premier League club. It should be exciting should he not be able to be shifted. Yes, it's right, it's this man, it's Mario Balotelli. The loan undone, worth a decent value on a heavy wage. If Jurgen Klopp doesn't want him in or around the club and nobody else wants him, will we see Mario Balotelli rot away in the Liverpool reserves? Will he get his chance should the likes of Benteke move on? Possibly even Daniel Sturridge moving on. I don't know what Klopp's thoughts are on Sturridge at the moment, but it's an interesting one with Balotelli. I fully expect him to join an Italian club on loan. It would be risky for somebody to sign him on permanent given the wage that he's on, and probably the fee that Liverpool might command. I expect they'll want around the 10 million mark, but it should be good fun should nobody want Balotelli and we end up seeing him playing back in the Premier League. But again guys, this is another case of loans being undone on our database update. Okay guys, before we wrap up the video, we'll get on to some edited transfers that of course have been done in the database. This is what most of the fans want, this is what they really come back for and look to download the database for. They want to experiment and try the new players that their new clubs have signed. So we kick it off with a £30 million man, Jose Mourinho's first signing, Eric Bailly at Manchester United from Villarreal. Mr. Wenger's movement has started early on in the transfer window. Granit Xhaka, who will take the number 16 shirt, signed for Arsenal from Mönchengladbach for a fee thought to be around the €30 million mark. A controversial one sees the Bavarian side Bayern Munich sign Mats Hummels. Of course, we've seen this case many times where Bayern Munich, they want the Dortmund players, they get the Dortmund players, and they've signed a stalwart in Mats Hummels for the club, pinching one of the rivals' best players and a captain. So Mats Hummels is of course a Bayern Munich player on the update. And of course, Bayern Munich's other signing, Renato Sanchez, a multi-million-pound signing from Benfica. Renato Sanchez, of course, got 2 caps for Portugal recently, 17 years old, and he is going to the European Championships and dicing it up and training alongside the main man that is Cristiano Ronaldo. And to replace Granit Xhaka at Mönchengladbach, they've already brought in Vestergaard, but they brought in Christoph Kramer for £12 million. The German international World Cup winning player did play in that final of the World Cup after Sami Khedira pulled up in the pre-match warm-up. Big signing for Mönchengladbach, big replacement for Granit Xhaka. Last part regarding transfers, guys, it is one of the biggest and earliest. Although he will not play till 2017, Ilkay Gundogan has joined Manchester City. Another big loss for Dortmund, but a solid player. We've increased his wage slightly. He was on £90,000 per week at Dortmund. Of course, if you're going to make a move to a bigger club, you will get a small increase in wage. No doubt that is pretty much the reason why players move these days. 24 years old. We have, of course, edited all things regarding that we need to. We will edit his squad number when we need to, edit his international cups if and when we need to, and he's got a contract for 4 years, which of course he did sign on the dot at the Etihad. Well lads, no pen has been put to paper as yet, but this is a deal I fully expect to happen. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the link in the rumour and the written stuff is too strong for this not to happen, and I believe, just like you do, Zlatan Ibrahimovic will be in a red shirt of Manchester very, very soon. And I, for one, am super excited to see him in the Premier League, regardless of which team he plays for. A similar case to Lionel Messi. You don't care which club he plays for in the Premier League. You just hope one day you get to see him grace the Premier League, so we can watch him on a week-in, week-out basis in the league that we all watch the most. Okay guys, so that just about wraps up the video of the database, and as you can see we put a lot of work into it. That is around just about 200 hours being put into the database this year on FM16, which is hell of a lot. And of course we still have the August transfer window to do. At the end of August, once all the deals are done, all the free agents have got clubs, all the loans have been done, and of course transfers etc. have been done, that's when it'll die down. Really after then, onwards to FM17. Then before FM17 we usually take about a 4 to 6 week break from editing. We give you one final one, and then we take a break from doing any editing. But guys, this database is going to be released on a weekly basis. It's going to be on a lot of places, but of course we are aiming to the YouTube side of things here. So every week, or if you happen to come across this video, look in the description guys, there will be a link to the latest database with the date beside it. I will change it every single week if you want to come back to YouTube and you see it, or if you just happen to pass it in say a few weeks time or a few months time and you're looking for something, because believe it or not, we do get people coming back to us and asking for databases for FM15, FM14 and even further back. So guys, you can see our Facebook page right now. We have 15,600 likes on there in 4.5 years. We have a team of myself, James, Martin, Andy, Edvard, Matty, 5 of us on there. This is our page. If you want to drop it a like, make sure you do. We're very active on there, and nothing goes unnoticed, and everything gets replied to. Whether it be general football or Football Manager, we always get back in touch with you. So you can find us on here. The next place you can find us is Twitter. Now, Twitter is only run by myself, James. We have nearly 2,900 followers on there. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow us at the FM Whizzkids. Now, other places you can find us and our work: footballmanagercentral.com. You can find our database on all of the following places I'm about to mention, as well as other things and other downloadable items that we have put up there. So you'll find us on footballmanagercentral.com. Steam Workshop, if you want to search James BD17, that's my name, you can find my work. That's a quicker way than searching through the Steam Workshop. You can just search my name, search my items that I've released, and you can get our database on there. Next up is Espen, my good friend Espen from passionforfootballmanager.com. He's helped me out a lot. You can get my work there. The FM Addicts, FM Base, My Football Manager Story, Manager-Online, Twitter at the FM Whizzkids, like I've already said. Facebook, Football Manager Whizzkids, which you can see right now. Sort Out XI, which is a great place for a lot of downloadable content, and I download a lot there every year. FM Scout, another great place. Stan runs that. He's got a lot of great content on there also. Everything gets reviewed on there, so if something goes on there, it's usually very good content. The Tifo Project. This is a new thing that's been up and running a few months. You can find us on there at the FM Whizzkids. You can also find us in a few other places and websites, but usually on Facebook and Twitter is where all the action is at. So, if you have any inquiries, guys, the Football Manager Whizzkids at hotmail.com. If you want anything, or if you have any propositions like we've had in the past regarding creating databases for people, you can get us at the Football Manager Whizzkids at hotmail.com. Again, guys, a massive thank you. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on all other social media outlets. This is the final place you can get our database. I thought it was time to reach out to the YouTube side of things in case my 1,200 subscribers do not know about our social media outlet stuff. But thanks for watching it, guys. This is an insight to the work I do on the edited database of the Football Manager Whizzkids with over 700,000 downloads in 4.5 years. Thank you very much. Take care. I'm James, and I'll see you very soon.